This is the J.R. Hendrick Texan Consort podcast that is done in narrated format. Hang tight and enjoy. Welcome to the Swainfield Barbecue, where we remember old friends. One other thing, I'm going to be doing some research. Podcasts are brought to you by the James Hendrick Empowerment Network. With me, as always, my shadow alter ego, J.R. Hendrick. Let's crack open the lemonade. Top there still here in Texas. Ain't that the truth? Alright. This is going to be an interesting, almost turning point in JR's life. Some friction. JR's going to bring this up. Okay. (1 p.m. It's the 24th of August. JR is in his dorm room listening to Brant Clark on the Rush Limbaugh show. Earlier this morning, he heard that Charlie is full-time at Fort Worth. He remembers speaking about the exact same thing 3 days ago, what Brent was talking about on the Andrew House show, about the need for block grants and faith-based initiatives. You didn't organize that very well, didn't he? I know. Earlier, JR had been berated by his father for supposedly making their suite at the Dallas Hyatt a total mess. And JR, he's like, what is this? I can't do this. I can't push through this. And Kevin's like, he's like, Junior, where are you going? Kevin always teased me as Junior, especially when I was down. And Jared was like, the hell with here. I'm going to get the hell out of here. Daddy reminds me of everything I lost. Jennifer Bowers. Lost anymore because of him. I don't know if I can ever forgive him. And Kevin's like, where? Well, where do you want to go? And Jared's like, back to the arcade. It's neat, where I used to have fun with Charlie. Just then, the phone rings. It's Amy Kathleen, one of JR's favorite cousins. And she's like, hey, JR, how's settling into Texas Tech? And JR's like, says something like, well, Daddy has high hopes from here. Thing is, we're having trouble getting along. Kind of contradictory. He's trying to play the so-so card. And she says, will you keep doing good for your grades? And Daddy may have a surprise for you. Now, it's Uncle Thomas who gives JR his first car for his birthday in 1992. It looked like he was going to get his third car from him this year. Okay, so it's 2:30 p.m. Central. The arcade was not fun for JR. So he walked back into his dorm room, and the phone rings. And dun 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 dun, it's Charlie. Oh no, I forgot something. A feature we do every time somebody is talking smack. Jim, sorry. You get the bill. He's always accusing JR, But then Charlie called and he said, well, I hope you ain't forgot about me. Remember me? And Charlie said, and Gerald's like, oh, Charlie, long time no hear from. But it's almost like, Gerald, why'd you say that? I was excited to hear from Charlie. I don't know, long-term internship in D.C. Daddy sometimes breathing down my neck. Charlie was like a breath of fresh air. So, Charlie says, well, every weekend, I want you to fly it down, come meet with me, and talk to Jennifer Bowers. And Gerald's like, I was going to consider it, but now, I don't know. Daddy accuses me of dirtying his mama's suite at the Hyatt. So I don't want to stay there. And Charlie's like, no, idiot, stay with me. I got a nice condo at Museum Place Condominiums in Fort Worth. We'll meet Sunday, September 3rd at her grandmother's apartment in Fort Worth. You can ask her to marry you again. And Jared's like, look, Jennifer and I are over. If you're dumb enough, go see her in Fort Worth and find out for yourself. And so the scene changes. It's 3 p.m. Central. And Brent Clark, he goes into Dr. Kinghorn's office to have a discussion. And Dr. Kinghorn, with his slightly graying hair, he takes a look at the papers and says, well, Brent, your internship shows that you've done well. You work well on creating a story, and you do you'll do excellent with political journalism. Dr. Kinghorn said. And Brent said, so do you think you can reward me with potential letters of recommendations for any job next summer? And Dr. Kinghorn said, the way things are going, the plan, oh yes indeed. And so Brent straightforwardly straightened his tie, and straightforwardly he says, so when can you write it for me? And Dr. Kinghorn kind of, twinkles his nose a little bit and leans back and he says, you must not have gotten the message. I wrote it for you yesterday. You see, the Center for Public Affairs awards all winners and high achievers. Oh yeah, the word of this episode is winner. Because Brent. So now it's 3:30 p.m. Central. JR goes into Smith Hall to look up some of his classes. As he is doing that, he gives Lucinda a call, getting things ready for next weekend's departure for the ranch. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. I want you to think about this. Christine must have got the cheap ride home through, I guess, Jennifer's parents. So she's swimming in the Springfield Ranch indoor swimming pool. And the poolside phone rings when the long cordless one. So she goes to Shallow End, she answers it, and it's Amy Kathleen, and she says, I got a call from this, and Christine said, I got a call from Lucinda this afternoon. She says that Daddy says JR is being a dork. And Amy Kathleen's like, of course not, Christine. Will you please just lighten up and not be so hard on your brother? And Christine's like, she's developing an attitude. Look, I'm trying to swim here. This first week in prep school back in Texas has been tough. And Amy Kathleen's kind of wisely saying, wait until your sophomore year in college, Christine. I mean, this one girl jilted JR. And this other girl, I feel, is not right for him. Think about that. And so Christine, it's just popping attitude again, you know. Look, I'm trying to swim today because it's stressful. I'm worried about getting another migraine. And Catherine's like, look, if you're starting to have symptoms of a migraine, go talk to Kyle. Go talk to Aunt Betsy. And okay, Christine, true Jim, okay? Because Jim said this a lot through his life. Well, I don't need no second opinion, and I don't need no doctor. And Amy Kathleen thought, oh, Christine, you're being difficult. I don't need no second opinion. And I don't need no doctor. Christine. Get schooled. So it's 6 p.m. JR is having barbecue at the Holy Spirit Club for dinner. And it's just him and Connie looking, sitting down. And she's like, okay, something's wrong. Out with it. And JR's like, Daddy laying for me like it isn't even my fault. Oh, sure. When their vacation is over, Mama and Daddy go straight back to that ranch where Kyle is. Mr. Kyle and Daddy goes back to D.C. Probably thinking of Kyle. When that internship ended, he thought I was his pride and joy of his life. Now he treats me like crap. And she's being nice. Look out, JR. Look, why don't you come over to my dorm room after dinner? I have no roommate, and we can talk. Of course, JR, true gentleman, is going to have the door open. He's like, I would sure like that. Let me get us some drinks on the way over. And she's like, no, I already have drinks for us. Okay, so it's 8 p.m. He doesn't say we're calling a long reel because her father comes in So he's laying on his bed, moping. He looked at another magazine cover where he saw Jennifer and her new fiance dancing together again at another society party in Houston. Okay, I want you to picture this, okay? The calm ocean waves in Fairfield, Virginia. And so he picks up the phone and calls Betsy. And Gerald's like all upset. He's like, it's bad, Mama. Daddy's mad at me for some reason. I got invited to go with Charlie to see Jennifer Bowers Labor Day weekend. Thing is, I don't know what to do. And okay, like he's a kid, Betsy says, we don't tell your father. Okay, and so it's 5 a.m. and JR and his like in his red and scarlet double T pajamas, and he's still stewing by his father. And his phone rings. It's Charlie. Something's bothering you, JR. What is it? As far as my daddy is concerned, I can't do anything right. I mean, after I turned 13, we never could seem to see eye to eye. Except now on politics, Jared said. Your dad belongs in fruit and nut land. Ever since he endorsed and sought that appointment from Clinton. Yeah. That's how this whole damn thing started. That's when he started to be difficult. I can't decide to whether love him or despise him. Join the club, JR. I feel the same way from my father, from one reject to another. Now, one look back is an episode where this line comes in, and it's going to be like there's one last episode with Charlie Nation in 1996 where he says that same line, from one reject to another. But this time, that last time, he has somebody that helps him stand up to Charlie. And JR's like, but that ain't what matters to me anymore. What matters is that I'm not like him, and that I have more of my granddad's influence. And Charlie, he's like, come off, it's a shame your granddad had to raise you. All because your dad can't stop wandering around, floating around, messing around. I want to give him the bell, but JR, no, don't. It's the truth. And JR's like, why do you think I smoked with you? I smoked it to get away from Dad and his influence. Come with me for Labor Day to help with your dad. This is your last chance to get away from him. Ask Jennifer Bowers to marry you. Okay, now that one, JR, I have to get him a bell. Get schooled, Charlie. And JR's like, I like you, Charlie, but not this time. You should have someone help you go over the damn papers. It's over between, he's like you're saying, it's over between him and Jennifer for good. Okay, so at 7 a.m., egg muffins were for breakfast at, JR, egg muffins were for breakfast as I sat down with Stormy Rosen. Welcome back to the land of the living, JR. When you came in last night, you seemed really salty. Sonny said, "It's my daddy. Plus, I got an invitation for Labor Day weekend with Charlie Nation to go to see Jennifer Bowers," J.R. said. "Charlie Nation? Jennifer Bowers? Oh, no. Please tell me you're not going to do that." And J.R.'s like, "I'm not. I'm going home to the ranch so that weekend to see my family." And Stone's like, "Get into your books. I think you'll do fine, JR." Okay, and so it's 11 a.m. and JR goes into the mass communications building because public affairs registration is not Smith Hall. And he goes into the office of Dean Settee. His classes selected was as follows: Public Policy Theory and Studies with Misty Elliott, Political Communication and Investigation with Christy Murray, Political Contention and Rhetoric with Friedrich McKay, Intro to Political Analysis with Bruce Kinghorn. Okay, so it's 11:30 a.m. Back at the dorm, Lucinda is organizing JR's folders and textbooks. And he's like, "Look, let me give you one warning. Don't listen to anyone, to your hypermasculine father. I work for your mother's side of the family," Lucinda said. "You don't have to worry about that. Thanks for ordering my burrito lunch. And thanks for ordering my stuff. I'm just going to enjoy my day," Gerald said. And Kevin walks in. He's like, "Warren and JR, Christy Murray works in the advocacy lab in the basement. You will have a chance to see it this semester. But don't take a peek at what she's advocating for. It's everything we're against." And Jared's like, "I'm not going anywhere in Smith Hall right now." Okay, so it's 1 p.m. And, well, Sarge's got forever car, but we're going to go somewhere else. It's the same time. Brent is meeting with his mother for lunch. They're discussing his job as a campus newspaper editor. And she says, he says, Mom, I think after some time working with newspapers, I may be an opinion editor or even do my own public affairs, start having clients." And Margie, his mother, she says, "But son, why don't you go ahead and open up your own public affairs deal and get your own clients. And Brent said, Mom, I'm not staying in Texas after graduation. The Albuquerque Post-Dispatch is looking for someone to be an opinion journalist. And she's like, honey, you're bargaining for more trouble. Why don't you partner yourself with J.R. Hendrick? I mean, everybody loves J.R. except for maybe your crazy daddy. We're separating for a while so I can keep an eye on you. All he cares about is power and justice. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. JR is... Oh, wait. Go back to the car. In Dallas, Sarge gets forever a 1996 Buick LeSabre. A red one. And the dealer said, okay, sir, complete with the car. Is an inboard-outboard bass boat, which will have the boat delivered to you by tomorrow at noon. The man at the dealership said. So Claude walks up to him and says, well, I'll not be. Sarge, how are you? And Sarge said, I'm doing quite well. Hey, thanks for that deal in Lubbock. Making lots of money. Yeah, we may move. And Forever says, we may move out of the apartment with it going. Now, Forever's a simple girl. But she don't mind moving her way up. Okay? For a while, she's going to be happy with Sarge. Okay? Now, 3 p.m., JR is doing some ahead study in his room when Mike Fields comes to the door and JR opens it and he's like, look, don't listen to your dad. Look, I like him, but I also serve your mom's side of the family. Just don't go to Dallas-Fort Worth to see Charlie and to see Jennifer. It's dangerous for you. And Gerald's like, no, Mike, Labor Day weekend, I'm going to the ranch to see my family and to see Karen, Gerald said. Now it's 5 p.m. at the ranch. So Christine returns home and she picks up her cell phone to call Amy Kathleen. Nothing. It's kind of like a dun, 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 you know. And Christine is like furious. Furious. So she runs toward the house to speak to Kyle. Okay. Be honest with you, she's popping a Kyle. Now at that same time, Brent goes to Coleman Hall to speak to Connie. He's like, Connie, I've been calling you off and on all day. Keep getting your answer machine. And she says, just like I've been trying to get a hold of JR. What's going on? Well, as you know, we start class on Monday. And Dr. Kinghorn has agreed to give me a letter of recommendation. Okay, so suddenly, Brent's fiance, girlfriend Jessie, runs out of the door, and she runs into Brent's arms, and she's like, look, if you're asking me to marry you, the answer is yes. Because you're a winner. I don't want to marry me a winner. Pretty. I mean, I want you to think about this. Brent is a paralytic, okay? But he's likable. Career advancement's probably his deal. And so Connie's like, look, maybe the four of us can double date sometime. Okay, so it's 7 p.m. Christine had dinner in her room, thanks to Maria, the cook. She's on the phone with Jennifer talking about prep school and that she may start finding a boyfriend to keep her occupied from all the crap with the family. Well, suddenly, call waiting. And it's Amy Kathleen. And she's like, what do you want? And Christine's like, why weren't you there when I called you? And she says, I was getting things ready for school, Christine. Think about it. And she says, but you see, that's the thing. People who don't answer my phone calls are a dork. Oh, Christine. Typical teenager. Get schooled. Yeah, get schooled. I mean, because seriously. It seems like ever since they lived together in Washington, there's been this back and forth exchange. And so, and Amy Kathleen's like, look, Christine, wake up and see reality. And Christine's like, how about you and JR are dorks? And Amy Kathleen's like, look, lay off, Christine. You know, everybody picks on JR for the wrong reasons. Okay, so it's 7:30 p.m. Meanwhile, Forever's parents' house in Wills Point, Elizabeth Marie is talking to Forever. You know, she's back living in Houston, and Forever's parents live in like a little town, Wills Point, so it's not too far of a drive. And Elizabeth Marie said, so glad you guys are back together. I mean, Frank said he was coming back to me, but then he stopped talking to me. And Forever's like, hey, let it go. The people like Frank, you know, they're users. And you should have no use for users. That's what Forever said, you know. The people, no. Sorry. Forever's like, you know, it's like, oh, honey, let it go. Sarge says people like Frank are users. You should have no use for users. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. JR and Connie are having a late pre-study date when who should show up but Mike Fields. And he's like, look, I need to talk to you about this again. You told me that you weren't going to DFW to meet with Charlie Labor Day weekend. But I know you must have thought about it. Mike said, and Jared's like, Mike, I don't even know if that's even a question. Which means Jared has thought about it. And, okay, and so Mike's like, look, all this mess over you missing Jennifer, please tell me you're not going to play that game. Oof. Oh, wrong one. So now it's August 26th, 1995. It's 9 a.m. And JR walks into the campus library for what he hopes is the last time. Because there's a library at in the Center for Public Affairs. And Connie meets him. And she's like, look, I just want to see you for lunch and dinner. You know that Karen is 140 miles away, and I know you could use some company. JR. It was that ironic. One of the ones that introduced me to Jennifer Bowers and would later be sent to the family estate in Gainesville to help write Daddy's political memoirs. So at the same time, Christine is on the phone with her father, who says that her mother will be home tomorrow night. He, however, was returning to Washington, D.C. for a few days before another good vacation near Richmond for Labor Day weekend. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. JR comes back from lunch with Connie, and his phone rings, and it's Amy Kathleen, and she says, JR, are you doing okay? And JR's like, well, yeah, I'm doing fine, my well-rounded cousin. JR, he's always saying sweet stuff to one of his favorite cousins. And she says, your sister hasn't always been that nice to me. But you and me, we've always been close. And Gerald's being all sweet, like always had and always will be, no doubt. And he's like, hey, come down to this direction in Texas, because I'd love to see you. And she's like, well, Forever and Sarge, they left to come here early this morning to come see me, and we're all going out for dinner tonight. And Gerald's like, have fun. Well, there's just then a call waiting. And it's Mike Fields, and he's like, look, all right, JR. Look, you can talk to Charlie all you want to, but don't you dare fly to DFW to see him. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. JR's restless. There's no doubt he's gone around Gordon Hall from the West Hall. I think he's going to go to the fountain or to the snack bar at Sneed. And his cell phone rings, and it's Charlie. Oof. I'm flying up to Boston for some financial meetings. Wish you were here with me, so I can get high with you in between meetings. I don't think so, Charlie. I love how we used to hang out together, but things just ain't the same no more. Don't tell me your daddy got a hold of you. And JR's like, he's frustrated. This ain't got nothing to do with me and Daddy. Now you need to know this. Jennifer Bowers and I are over. And I mean for good. This is an interesting episode. One to 5. I give it a 4.7. And a glass can or bottle of lemonade, whichever one. JR, I give it a 3.9 with a glass of lemonade and Dr. Kinghorn's letter of recommendation. That's cool, isn't it? Well, okay, I hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Takes and Gentlemen. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Takes and Gentlemen. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, take care and get ready for the rest of the story. It is going to get a lot more interesting from here.